kaip veikia SIM kortelės? Honestly, aš nežinau, kaip veikia SIM kortelės. Aš man parekomendavau, aš galvoju, pala, kaip veikia SIM kortelės? Ten yra magneto principų. Ir aš galvoju, pala, aš tikro nežinau, kaip veikia. Aš spėčiau, kad magnetizmo principu, elektromagnetizmo kažkokiu principu, nu, kad kažkaip perjungti switchus, kad ten išsaugo duomenis SIM-e tam tikrus, bet jo, I have no idea. Tai žodžiu, tai pažiūrim, kaip veikia SIM kortelės.
Have you ever looked at the chip of a credit card and a mobile phone SIM card and thought, wait, they look quite similar? And would you like to know what makes these two old
Wow.
phones, a Nokia and a Motorola, so special even in 2018? In this
Jie
series,
vis dar
I want to
veikia?
talk about mobile networks and mobile network security. And by that I don't mean Android or iOS apps. I mean the network, SIM cards, baseband and base stations. Most of us know how the internet works. It's so easy to set up a lab and use Wireshark to look at the traffic. But we basically don't really learn about how mobile networks work. You can't just Wireshark the radio network. I only learned about this a few years ago in university, where I took a course on telecommunication security, and that was a great foundation that I will obviously use for these videos, but it's really hard to do anything practical with mobile networks for reasons you will see soon. But then Vadim Yanitsky, Accelerator on Twitter, contacted me if I would want to see some GSM Osmocom demos, and I could record it for some videos. And of course, I took this opportunity and met up with him, and that was so awesome. So thanks to him, I finally got some real hands-on practical experience with this topic, and I'm so excited to try to pass this
We're
on
getting
to you.
there, I guess.
I hope over the course of
Kaip
several
SIM kortelė
videos,
veikia?
you will get a great basic understanding of how the mobile network works, and you know where to go in case you want to learn more.
Kaip SIM kortelė veikia?
So I started this video showing you a credit card and a SIM card. And the reason why they look so similar is because both are so-called smart cards. A smart card or chip card is any pocket-sized card that has embedded integrated circuits. Many smart cards include a pattern of metal contacts to electrically connect to the internal chip. Here on Wikipedia you can see some great images. The actual chip is smaller than the gold connectors, and they just connect with tiny bond wires to there. All the outer stuff is just plastic.
Wait a second. Jo, čia kalba apie tą, kur actually susijungia, nes dabar kai kurias korteles tiesiog prilieti, nu, tipo tas. Jeigu susijungia, tai, I guess, nu, man mystery nėra. Susijungia pro konektorius, pakeičia values, tipo, nu, nes tu actually susijungi. Okay.
Here you see how they are connected.
Man gal įdomu būtų,
Right?
kaip wireless
So when
tos
you look at
veikia.
your phone, and I would ask you, how many computers are in there? What would your answer be?
Milijardai?
There was actually an opening question in the university class I had, and I think it's a great question. Maybe some people would respond with one, it's a single small
Ne,
smartphone
nemaišau,
computer.
Davidai.
But maybe you knew that the SIM card is actually a tiny computer itself. Your phone computer communicates with the tiny embedded SIM card computer. And that computer can't do much, but it can do a lot more than some of you might think. In a very simple way, you can imagine this small computer to just contain a private key, and with public-private key cryptography, you can use it to authenticate to something. And the idea is that it's super hard to extract the private key from the smart card. Not comparable to the simple magnetic strip.
Ne, Davidai, aš įtarimą turiu, kad čia teksto nesuvokimas, tu nesupranti, ko aš klausiu ir ką tu sakai, ir čia tiesiog, bet aš neturiu jėgų tiesiog. Galim pažiūrėti video, bet, nu...
On a credit card. The private key never leaves the chip. If you want to do some crypto, your phone will communicate with the SIM card and ask it to do it, in the same way a credit card reader using the chip will do so. Nobody can clone a SIM card or credit card that way. There are attacks on smart cards, which I've touched on before with the...
Wow, ką čia, blėt, per bombą kūrė. Čia tas matuoklis, kur visokius voltages rodo ir panašiai, čia nežinau kas, ir čia prijungtas devices ir matuojagės. Pala, čia tas breadstickas, tas, kaip jie ten vadina, tas stickas, kur sujungi, tipo, nu ir connectionus gali padaryti. Jo, aš neįsivaizduoju, ką čia padarė.
Power analysis and other crazy hardware hacks, but generally the cost is pretty high to do that. But in theory, if you could extract the private key from it, you could clone a SIM card or clone a credit card chip. So you can't clone a SIM card that easily, but what if you just steal a SIM card? Can you just use it? And that is why you need a PIN for your credit card when you use the chip or the SIM card. The small computer inside the SIM card refuses to do the crypto stuff you want if you won't tell it the secret PIN. That's another protection. So, how does this look like in practice? Vadim showed me SimTrace. So, Osmocom SimTrace or SimTrace 2 is a software and hardware system for passively tracing the SIM mobile equipment communication. As you can see here, you have this basically fake SIM card that is connected with a flat flexi PCB cable and connects to this board. And this is where you put the real SIM card. So basically the phone...
Man atrodo, čia į netokį kanalą atėjau, aš nežinau, ble. Tai kaip SIM kortelė veikia? Jie atrodo, kad neria taip daug giliau šitą technologiją, o kur man reikia pradžioje gal paskaityti tiesiog Wikipedia pirmus 2 sakinius, aš nežinau. Kaip SIM kortelė veikia? Čia žiauriai per advanced kažką.
Phone is still using the real SIM card, it's just forwarded through that. But because the SIM card is not inside the phone anymore, you can now intercept and record that communication and forward that via USB to the PC. And then you can observe all the messages and commands the phone sends to the SIM card and see how the SIM card responds. So when you turn on the phone asks you to enter the PIN. Let's enter the PIN and then look what happened. Here's Wireshark. Wireshark, you say? What? Okay, so Wireshark is a convenient tool to analyze packet-based communication. And in this case, you can see here the protocol is GSM SIM. And Wireshark is listening on localhost, so the SimTrace software actually records the SIM communication, puts them into a UDP packet and sends them onto localhost. That's why you can use Wireshark then to collect all these packets. And it looks like they have an Ethernet layer and an IP layer and a UDP layer, but that's just to transport the data. The actual interesting payload is the GSM SIM protocol. Somebody wrote a payload decoder for Wireshark to analyze the data. So ignore all the references to IPs and MAC addresses. That's not what it's sent between the SIM card and the phone. You only focus on the GSM SIM layer. Anyway, when we look at the packets that were collected after the PIN was entered, we can see what the SIM and phone did.
Aš jau po vakar, po keleivių eilučių turėjau gal 5 likusias dar smegenų ląsteles. Jos baigė mirti skaitant, ką jis dabar rašo. Tai yra tupiausias žmogus, kokį aš pažįstu, sakau. Tupesnis už visus. Nes jis actually... Plokščiažemis yra plokščiažemis, žinai, vatnikas yra vatnikas. Bet žinai, pusiau adekvatus žmogus ir jis toks dalykus rašo. Nu... Ir jis rašo ir net nesusimasto, ant kiek yra absurdas. Tiesiog, neįtikėtina, man tiesiog neįtikėtina. My body, my choice numetė ir net nesusimastys, ant kiek tai yra absurdas. Parduotuvės example ir net nesumastys. Ir vėlgi, čia nieks nežinot, ant kiek tai yra, tragedija ir kaip net adresuota. Bet sėkmės jums, aš mėginu išsiaiškinti, kaip SIM kortelė veikia.
The first important packet here is the verify CHV. The info also says something about ISO IEC 78164. And when you look that up, you will learn that this is a protocol standard. ISO 7816 is an international standard related to electronic identification cards with contacts, especially smart cards. And specifically, Section 4 is about organization, security, and commands for interchange. It was created in 1995, and according to its abstract, it specifies things such as contents of command and response pairs, access methods to files and data in the card. Remember, the SIM card is a small computer, so the SIM card also has files, and also defines access methods to the algorithms processed by the card.
Okay.
So what does verify CHV mean? Let's peek into the GSM standard. Here, CHV is described as cardholder verification information, access condition used by the SIM for the verification of the identity of the user. Can you guess what that is? That's a fancy description for your PIN. The user who knows the PIN can verify that they are the user by presenting the PIN to the SIM card. And we can also check what verify does. This function verifies the CHV, so the pin, presented by the ME, the mobile equipment, the phone, by comparing it with the relevant one stored in the SIM. The verification process is subject to the following conditions being fulfilled. CHV is not disabled and CHV is not blocked. So either your pin is blocked because you entered it too much or you had disabled the pin. And further we can read, if the CHV presented is false, the number
Kaip SIM kortelė veikia?
of remaining CHV attempts for that CHV shall be decremented. After 3 consecutive false CHV presentations, not necessarily in the same card session, the respective CHV shall be blocked and the access condition can never be fulfilled until the unblock CHV function has been successfully performed on the respective CHV. So this is all fancy documentation language, but there's basically defined that you have 3 attempts for your pin, and if you fail, the SIM is locked until you use that other special longer code to unblock it again. Interesting, right? Anyway, after that we can see some select file commands. So the phone requests the content of files stored on the SIM card. One file contains the IMSI, the International Mobile Subscriber Identity, which uniquely identifies this SIM card. Also, remember that you can store some contacts on your SIM card? Well, here you can see how the phone requested the phone book on the SIM card. There's one other cool thing. Vadim looked at the Wireshark trace and saw this.
And here we can see some packets related to the SIM card menu. This is also quite interesting.
And I was like, SIM card menu? I've never seen a SIM card menu.
Let's check it out. One can usually find it in the phones menu. Here we see Vodafone services.
Oh, that's what this menu always was. It's like a thing I never used. So this is a menu running on the SIM card?
Exactly, and this is Java application.
You heard right. Usually there is Java running on SIM cards. Java cards refer to a software technology that allows Java-based applications to be run securely on smart cards. It is widely used in SIM cards, used in GSM mobile phones and ATM cards. Crazy, right? And when we click around on that menu, the phone obviously has to forward whatever we did in the menu to the SIM card, and the SIM card has to respond what kind of text to show on the screen.
Let's select something, and here we got the message.
For example here, terminal response select item. We select an item in the menu, and then the SIM card responds with a new text for the menu. Fetch display text.
SIM card basically tells the phone what to display on its screen. Let's hope Wireshark is capable to decode this.
So Vadim wasn't sure if that weird part of the SIM protocol was actually implemented in Wireshark, but it was. Here it shows the text. MMS-Info-Services können nur mit MMS-fähigen Handys empfangen werden.
Aha.
So that's German. It's a
Davai dar vokiškai teksto parašom, jo.
German SIM card, so the menu was German, and it translates to MMS-Info-Services can only be received with phones that support MMS. And I had pressed the back button on the phone. So the terminal response, so the response we gave and the phone forwarded to the SIM card was hex11, which stands for backward move requested by the user. Isn't that awesome? We use the mobile phones every day, but we have almost no one.
Kaip SIM kortelė veikia?
I hope you found this interesting. Thanks so much, Nadim.
Gerai, visų pirma, ne kaip SIM kortelė veikia, kokie paketai SIM kortelės yra, kaip SIM kortelės paketai veikia, kokią informaciją perduoda. Čia toks video buvo. Jaučiuosi visiškai išdurtas, gerai. What the fuck? Jesus Christ. Gerai. SIM card full form subscriber identity module, ok, integrated circuit. PVC, embedded contact and semiconductors, okay. Design. Prisijungia pinai. Techniškai ir paduoda vieną ar kitą. Ir ten, kadangi yra mikroprocesas, jis kažką padaro, taip veikia. Authentication key, viskas gerai, formatai. Embedded eSIM. Naujos technologijos pagal formatą. Naujausias embedded SIM tai eSIM. Tai, okay, developments. Embedded SIM. Embedded SIM is a form of programmable SIM that is embedded directly into the device. Surface mount format provides the same electrical interface. Okay. Explain like I'm 5. Gerai. How do SIM cards fucking work? Okay. They're basically small computers with very simple interface. The phone sends instructions through the metal surfaces on the SIM card. Okay. And the SIM card answers, or vice versa. Okay. Tai kaip microchipas. Paduodi pro piną, gauni pro piną. Alright. There are a number of functions implemented in the SIM card, the most important being authentication. When the phone wants to register on the cell phone network, it needs to prove that it belongs to a subscriber. Each SIM card has a unique identification number, okay, and the phone relays that from the card to the network. Another feature of SIM cards is application toolkit. The SIM card can send commands to the phone to show user interface elements like menus and short messages. Čia realiai tą patį parašė, bet jo banks often use this to implement online banking features, but other applications are also possible. These days, smartphones mostly use apps and the internet for this, but back in the days of feature phones and point and coverage, that was some quite more. Okay. Does SIM actually run its own applications, or does it just store instructions for the phone? For the embedded applications, runs some simple logic. Okay. Įdomu. Iš esmės, nu jo, čia nieko ypatingo atsakymas. Iš esmės, microchipas mažas kompiuteris turi savo procesorių ir tiesiog laiko informaciją. Jo, įdomiau būtų kokiu jau, o ten, I guess, tas pats tie ir simai, kur tiesiog priliesti užtenka, nu kortelės tai yra, kur priliesti užtenka, tai greičiausiai tas kompiuteris vis tiek lieka, tiesiog jis biškai labiau advanced ir naudoja tas visokias technologijas tada jau, kur prisėda, okay, I guess, kinda makes sense. Palari tikrai kinda makes sense, nes ten esu neprijungi, ten tų voltažų nepaduosi, ne, vis tiek aš nesu. Kaip tos be priglaudžiamas veikia be kontaktus, anyway. Koks vakaras ilgas, kaip širdį man gelia. Nuskink man jis mėly.